Everyone has their own ways of coping, but going on a trip to Paris while your father is dying in the hospital may not be the most advisable option. Was it genuinely enjoyable while it lasted today? We hope this daughter found the croissants enjoyable. The friend took out a loan for her father's medical care and went on a trip, which led to her being exposed and disowned by her family. My friend Emily placed money at the top of her priorities, opting for everything else over it, including our friendship and her family. I am 33 female and work as a junior editor. Doesn't pay much, but I also have a candle making business, so it helps to put me back on my feet financially. Emily, 33 female, and I have known each other since forever. We were the girls who instantly clicked during high school. We were both new during the school year, so our friendship blossomed at that time. We thought it would be Laura and Emily against the world. Real life came. It was time for college, and we both had different paths to go into. I wanted to be a journalist, and well, Emily wasn't sure what she wanted. She was unsure of the kind of career that would fit her. One day she wanted to be a fashion designer, and the next day a nurse. I didn't blame her. Nobody truly knew what they wanted to venture in. I cannot count how many times I had second-guessed my career when things went a little bit hard. But Emily didn't try to know which would fit her or tried to be practical. All she wanted was to travel. She wanted to go around the world, buy things in different countries, and post on her social media. It was cute when she gushed about it in high school, but she had to be practical to see what career would get her to that point. Honestly, I think she just wanted to be a Debbie Hunt. I moved to Chicago for college and she stayed back in Atlanta. We lost contact, or rather I'll say life happened and we couldn't communicate that much. Hours on the phone call turned into short messages on iMessage. Suddenly, we didn't talk in detail about everything going on in our lives. Friendships evolve, and one thing I learned in my years is that there's a possibility of friendship breakup. Sometimes nothing may happen. You two may just figure out that you have outgrown each other. That was the case for Emily and I. One day at the office, I got a message from Emily. It was on Facebook. She had mentioned that she was in Chicago and wanted to catch up. I was ecstatic because I had missed her. We met up at an old coffee shop downtown. She hadn't changed much. She still had her dark bob hair and short stature. It didn't seem like the years had been kind to her. Emily told me of her family problems, which terrified me. Emily's father was sick with lung cancer. I was sad. Emily's father was such an amazing man. He used to pick us up from school and take us for ice cream. He used to tell us to be mindful of the tricks that boys usually pulled. He was a good father to Emily and her older brother. I secretly wished I had a father like hers, and he did not make me feel out of place in the home. He knew I missed my dad who died when I was 5. Emily broke down crying about her father. She believed that cancer would kill him and further said that her family had no funds to cover the treatment anymore. She briefly spoke about her employment history and how she was fired from an advertising agency. I didn't even know she was into advertising. Then again, I had missed over 10 years of her life. Emily cried that her mother couldn't work because she had to take care of her father. I recalled that they had a family restaurant business. Emily told me that the business had flopped because there was not much patronage. Her family had moved from Atlanta to Chicago to find more opportunities for earnings. She asked me if I could lend her some money. When she asked for the specific amount of $3,000, I nearly spat my coffee on her face. Whoa, I was always skeptical about loans because I felt the person may not pay back. Emily started pleading, promising that she would pay me back. I couldn't sit there and not do anything. Emily's father was good to me in my childhood, but it was a lot of money. I didn't have that kind of money laying around. I did have a savings account that I was dedicated to putting a fraction on my salary into every month and also money from my side hustle. It amounted to about $6,000. To convince me further, she mentioned that she had a job interview with a salesperson and it was promising. Even though she hadn't gotten the job, she was sure that she would have it in no time. Emily's father needed it to be well, so I had to do something. I agreed to give her the money and did the bank transfer. She was happy that her father would finally have the funds for the treatment. I was intent on growing our friendship and occasionally message her about her work life and love life. She would not respond to me on time, but it's adulthood, so I didn't mind. Some people don't respond on time because of work or maybe they are going through something. I figured it was a latter for her because of her father's health problems. I called and asked her about her father's health. I was hoping to reach out to him to try and help out in any way that I could. I couldn't find their contact or social media handles and was hoping that she could give it to me. Emily told me that her father was still in the hospital and she hasn't gotten any word on the promising job. She asked for us to meet again. She cried that she may not be able to repay me at the scheduled time that she promised because things were tough at home. On one hand, I was terrified that I wouldn't get my money back. On another, I felt bad for Emily. I knew how it felt to be in a difficult place financially after my dad's death. My mom used to work 4 jobs to keep things running in the home. I told her to take her time and to repay me whenever she could. Work got extremely busy for me during that period. I was in the office, busted my behind for a promotion, and when I got home, I was working on my candle-making business. Skipped my mind for a while. Until one day I checked through my savings and remembered. I had sent messages to Emily reminding her about the money. On day 1, there was no answer. On day 2, there was no answer either. Weeks passed and nothing. I was beginning to think that something bad had happened to her. I knew that they were living downtown near the coffee shop where we met, but I didn't know which apartment she stayed in Chicago. I was clueless. I was hoping that she would respond to my messages soon. A week later, I had a candle order for a bridal shower. I had stayed up all night making them. I drove down to the city to deliver the candles myself. You wouldn't believe who I saw in this small gathering. It was Emily. She wasn't in her basic clothes. She had long blonde hair, beautifully manicured nails, and a to-die-for expensive dress. She looked like she was dipped in gold. This Emily did not look like someone who had money problems. I hid behind my car and made a call through her cell phone, and she declined it. The nerve of this girl. Their girl had been declining my calls and had probably seen all my messages, but how was she here and not by her father's side? When the owner of the house came to me wanting to pay, I decided to stealthily ask for more information about her. She was the sister of the bride. I subtly asked if the blonde one was the bride, and she mentioned that it was Emily. Not to sound spooky, I told her that she resembled one of my long-lost friends from Atlanta, hence I was just checking. The bride's sister went on to say that Emily wasn't from Atlanta. She was from Chicago itself, and they had met her in Paris 2 months ago. The bride and her sister were on a family trip where they had met Emily, who was having a solo trip. Paris. Paris is a city of love, but is also freaking expensive. No one could just go to Paris. I tried hard to keep my expression on the low and inquired more, but subtly. I was like, "Oh, Paris, I'm sure she has a lot of money." The woman responded to Emily loved to travel and had been to 3 countries in 1 month. My Emily, the Emily who had her sick dad in the hospital, she had been to 3 countries in a month. I was upset. The woman paid my money and left to join the party. I stayed back in my car, battling what to do. I knew I had to confront her, but how? I couldn't do it in front of her bougie friends. I had to be strategic about it. I waited in my car, hoping for her to come out of the house. When she did, I went full-on confrontational. Emily was surprised to see me and tried to downplay the fact that she had been ignoring me. I didn't run around in circles. I inquired about the Paris thing and the whole trip. She couldn't lie. It was written all over her face. If she had all that money, she couldn't have just paid me back. Emily told me that she didn't have a job. I figured maybe she had a man bankrolling her, and she told me that was not so. Then I figured the money I had lent her was used for the travels. When I verbalized my thoughts, she didn't admit or deny them, but her face ripped guilt. She'd used the money for herself as gains. I asked her if her father was even sick in the first place, and she told me that he was still lying in Central Hospital fighting for his life. I wondered why she would use the money for personal gain and not give it to her father who desperately needs it. Then I remember that Emily's dream was always to travel. She wanted to see the world, so she used my money to fulfill her travel dreams. I informed her that she would need to reimburse me for the money within this month. There were no words from her. Without acknowledging me, she turned and went back into the bridal shower. Goodness, I was livid. It wasn't my intention to stop there. I contacted Emily regarding my finances, but she declined to reply. Weeks went by without any response. I was starting to get upset. I was furious. I considered her family. Did she allocate any of the funds for her father's treatment? The next morning, I decided to deal with her. I remembered that she told me that they lived somewhere downtown near the coffee shop, so I went on a little trip to search for them. I stopped at the first house in the neighborhood and asked for the last name. I was directed to an old brown house. I know it's extreme, but I needed to know the truth. Was Emily's dad truly sick or not? I knocked on the door and her mother answered. Emily's mother looked so different. She had lost the light and her eccentric blue eyes. She had lost so much weight. She looked like she had been suffering. She briefly recognized me and asked me to come in. You wouldn't believe what had happened. Emily's mother mentioned that things had been tight in the house since her husband's health had took a turn. The family barely had money to get him chemo. I asked if Emily had given them any money, and she said that the family hadn't seen Emily for a long while since 3 months ago. Seeing Emily's mother so frail and tired made me angrier. Emily let her mom deal with this while she traveled the world. Worse, she lied to me that she needed the money for her father and said it was to go on silly vacation trips. I wasn't going to say anything yet to her mother, but I was pushed too. Emily's mother wanted to go to the hospital and her car was out of gas, so I decided to drive her there. Getting to the hospital, my heart further broke for the family. Emily's dad was so sick. I expected him to look bad, but he looked worse. He had various machines connected to him. He could barely open his eyes. That's when I decided that I had to tell the truth after all. I'm a journalist. Tearfully, I broke the news to them about the money I lent to Emily for the treatment and also the fact that she used the money for her expensive trips around the world. Her mother couldn't believe it, so I showed her proof of my conversation with Emily. Her father could barely say anything, and her mother was in tears wondering why Emily couldn't help the family. When Emily's older brother came, the news was also told to him. He didn't take it easy. He was furious. He had been working tedious jobs to keep the family together while Emily was busy on trips. I figured my work had been done. Although I had exposed Emily, I still had mixed emotions. 1, I wondered how I would get my money back from her, and 2, I felt bad for the family in this difficult time. The family should stay together, but it seems as though I had caused a big problem. Emily decided to do her form of confrontation. She barged into my office in her basic clothes. I wonder where the whole gold and diamonds had gone to. She mentioned that she had just came from the hospital, and her mother had told her everything about my visit. She cried that her family wanted nothing to do with her. That was all because of what I had told the family about her. Emily did this to herself. She had the wrong priorities. Instead of helping her family during the tough time, she was taking trips around the world. What kind of daughter does that? Emily cried that her mother asked her do not come close to the house or her father because she was toxic. I believed that Emily's mother had said that in the heat of the moment, but it was real. She wanted nothing to do with Emily. She told me that she wanted to experience being rich for a little while. She complained that all her life she had not moved from America and needed to be free. She thought that by the time she was back from her vacation, her father would have been healed without drugs and treatment. Really, Emily. Emily's beginning to feel the effect of her actions. With her money had run out and she had no family to run to. Worse, her father was getting worse, and she feared that he could die at any moment now. Emily's crying that she wants to be let back into the family and spend the little time that she has left with her father. Now she wants me to help her out. In what way can I even help her, and why should I? Honestly, you already did enough op. If you truly want to help again, you should give the money directly to the mother and find some way to bypass the family completely and pay for things anonymously. I'm sorry Emily took advantage of her kind and generous heart. She made her choices and now she has to learn from them. Obviously, her priorities are elsewhere, and if her father passes because she denied him the help that she was able to provide because she had swindled you, that's on her. That's something she'll have to live with. Date 1. Hello guys, hope you've all been well. Oh wow, I didn't even know it has been so long until today. I'm so sorry for not reaching out. Life and work have been hard. Elections are coming up, so journalists are doing a lot more this time around. Well, about Emily, wow, you guys have a lot of emotions and opinions about my problem, and I see some people have experienced what I'm going through. You cannot believe what has been happening with Emily and her family. Right after Emily came to beg me, I told her that I didn't want anything to do with her. I only wanted my money back. I told her that she shouldn't message me because she was narcissistic and didn't care about anyone but herself. I figured I was too harsh on her, but she deserved it, guys. She took my money to travel. I also want to travel the world. When I last heard from her brother, Emily's dad was in a coma and the situation seemed bleak. The physicians stated that he could go at any time. As you can see, this would increase the family's hatred for Emily's guts even more. It was their belief that had she been able to improve her father's condition and had used the funds appropriately, he would have gotten better and left the hospital. However, her priorities were not aligned with this. I know I probably shouldn't have, but I gave Emily's mother a small amount of money to help with the treatment and management around the house. This was what I intended to do earlier before the whole Emily's selfish problem. Just yesterday, Emily had reached out to me demanding money and support. She had tried to manipulate me, saying that she didn't have her family support because of what I did, that I was the reason for her family's problem. Hello, she calls it all with her selfishness. She told me that I was the one who messed up her life, and the least I could do was give her some money to start a business or to get on her feet. I owe this woman nothing. Why would I give her money when she still freaking owes me thousands of dollars? Why do people never change, and why does she love money so dang much? Definitely sounds like she's coping in the worst of ways. She's making her father's illness all about her. Date 2. Hey guys, adulthood is a scam. I wish I could have stayed a baby for a while because working and paying bills is a lot for me. I guess this is just my way of apologizing for leaving you guys, especially when you all have been so good and helpful towards me. I'm so exhausted when I come to you with this update. So many things have happened. First, Emily's manipulation was constant. She kept sending me messages that I was the cause of the problems. God, I am tired of that girl. The only message I need from her is that she has my money. Then I can block her and never hear from her again. Secondly, Emily's father died. He passed away 2 weeks ago. His wife was beside him when he took his last breath. Emily's mother had called me to let me know that he passed in his sleep. I took the news hard because Emily's father was good to me, and he could have been better if Emily hadn't used all the money for his treatment to travel around the world. As much as I hated Emily's guts, I knew it must hurt to be fatherless. I had also gone through that. I figured that she must have taken the news of his death really hard. I went to the funeral. Emily was also there, but not close to the family. Emily could have prevented her father's death and could have spent more time with him as she wasn't so focused on money all the time. After the burial, Emily wanted to follow her mother home to try and help out anywhere she could. It almost turned into a ruckus. Her older brother refused to let her close to their mother and told her to keep her distance from the house for a while. They still felt a great deal of betrayal and couldn't live past what Emily had done. Can you believe that Emily tried to attack me? She pointed fingers at me and was like, "You caused this." If not for Emily's brother, she would have turned this to gathering into a mini boxing match. I love the fact that her family left her there crying and all alone. If she wanted to be selfish, she might as well be alone. Eventually, one day her family may move past what has happened and maybe would want to bury the hatchet, but that would take a long time. Death is very hard to get over, especially with Emily's father, who was Emily's mother's best friend and longtime partner. Emily had caused her problem. I'm not saying that her zest for traveling is not important, but her family is important, especially a family like hers. Am I waiting for my money? Yes, but even though she never pays me, what she is going through makes me a bit glad. Thank you guys for the great help. It was really needed. Honestly, it's great to talk when things get hard. Please take care of yourself and be mindful of whom you loan money to. You may never get that money back, OP. At least your intentions were entirely virtuous, which is more than can be said for Emily. It's tough to lose a parent, and as I mentioned, she'll need to come to terms with the reality that her life could have been much different had she shown less selfishness. Would you have given a loan? What are the reasons for or against it? How do you interpret Emily's behavior?
What would you do in this situation? Let us know in the comments. If this story had you on the edge of your seat, smash that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping family drama, shocking betrayals, and the revenge stories you won't believe.